Oh yeah, so Grand Illusions. 1v different Grand Illusions. Tim's Transformers. I love his intro. Why is my camera so dark?
Wind up toy. Do you remember this? Dawson the dog. Wonderful. Just to remind you. It shoots across the table. Suddenly it transforms into a dog. Bit off the table. I'll see if I can get him to perform without picking him up. Ooh. So one moment it's a dog, next moment it's a...
Again, I asked the question, do kids still play with toys?
It's a truck. Extraordinary, very, very clever idea there, and does about 6 or 7 reversals before it comes to an end. So that's probably the most sophisticated one I've ever come across. But I've got quite a few of these.
I used to love Transformers.
A few of them I bought.
We can never afford the official ones, with the licensed ones, so let's buy the knockoffs from the dollar store. Still good.
Toy, that's what it is. It's a duck, isn't it? Except, well, I'll show that. That's going to give a little clue what's going to happen next.
The rabbit.
When you tip it just 90 degrees, it turns into a rabbit. A rabbit. Very clever little transformation. You can see what's happening now as I turn it. Duck and rabbit. So this has got no gears, no
standalone
wheels,
transformer,
no elastic bands, no wind-ups. Just a completely separate, simple little item which you turn from one way or the other, and it transforms from one figure to another figure. Couldn't be simpler. The origin of this, at least in my collection, I think, started off with the Japanese, who started coming up with some wonderful items which were one thing, and then they turned into a robot. They all seem to turn into robots eventually.
Yeah, they all turn into robots because Japanese love robots.
Sorting out with a little engine. This one is a piece of rock, almost like a sort of, if it's shiny, it's almost like a huge emerald, isn't it? But this transforms into a robot. It's quite complicated, but it's quite fun. There we are. There's the robot's head. And you've got to pull these.
What Tim thinks about Gundams?
Not sure it's a robot or a monster, actually. It's a bit of both, really. And you've got to pull out the arms. If you can do that, look, there's an arm there, and a hooked arm and a hooked arm there. Extraordinary, isn't it? And he stands on his feet and looks thoroughly dangerous. Extraordinary. What a piece! What a piece! Robot or space monster or something like that. And he goes back into a rock again. Very interesting and very strange, and quite complicated to do. Here's another one made in Britain a few years ago. It's extraordinary. It's a motorbike. It's quite fun to play with. You can do that. It's got a bit of string underneath, which is interesting, but it's a clue of what's going to happen next. This thing collapses into another toy altogether, which is very well known, and you recognise it, but to have this starting off as a... That goes into there, that's right. As a motorbike is an extraordinary transformation when you then turn it into... yes, so that's the last bit, which the little leg goes in. And now we have, do you recognise it?
Ah, it's a yo-yo.
Whoa. A yo-yo. Well, sort of. It just about works. What an extraordinary idea, to transform from a yo-yo into a motorbike and back again. But that's designers for you. Wonderful people. Here's one which I've got probably about 50 different versions in my collection. Eggs which hatch, but they're really transforming from an oval egg shape, and every one of them changes into a creature or critter. This particular one opens up into quite a glamorous looking praying mantis, I think it is. There's his body, and there's his arms, and there's his vicious looking...
self-contained toy.
Arms, isn't he? Extraordinary. And the legs, look at the legs coming out as well. That's wonderful, isn't it? And these pieces move like that to make it look really quite realistic as a praying mantis. Extraordinary idea. And then goes back into an egg again. So every one of these starts off with something and then turns back into an egg. That's a very, very fine version of it. Some of them are semi-animated. This one here, for instance, is made of very gooey plastic. So when you turn it inside out, it's a monkey at the moment, but he turns into a sort of gooey, eggy thing. I think if we let that sit on the table, and it sort of slowly comes apart, and slowly it sort of opens up with its arms slowly unsticking from the body, and there's a head coming up. It's all sticky plastic, so as you turn it inside out,
silicon.
It accepts that, but when it wants to go back again, it tries to become its other shape, which in this case is a sort of monkey creature. Very strange, and very soft, and when it first had it, really quite gooey, I think, too. Here's a charming one for, I think, sort of play school type thing for very small children. It's a transformation, but it works so simply. It's a little truck which they can play with and run across the floor. And if you want to transform it, you just push there. What happens? Wow, helicopter, complete with a little pilot. Look at that, isn't that beautiful?
I guess that's pretty cool.
Very nice. Folder helicopter, they call it, foldercopter. Put it back again, even a child can manage this. Let's bring the two halves up, push them together, push that down. It's back into a truck. And the driver's disappeared inside. But I love that sudden transformation from that into that. That's magical, absolutely magical. So there's quite a few of these around, and I think I'll just finish up with old Dawson's Friend here. It's another one I got from the same people, and it also does a lovely transformation. In this case, it's a racing car, not a truck, into a sort of different critter. Here we go. Wow, look at that monster. And then back into a racing car again.
And that's all from just the gear.
Back into a monster.
No batteries.
Whoa.
Quite impressive.
Wonderful. So, I think these toys really transform my life.
Good one too.
Yours.
One more. One more, or I have an expo video as well. Or we can watch some Daily Dose. Let's watch one more.
Real-time voice changer for gamers and content creators.
For gamers.
More than 90 ways of having
fun with your voice.
Complete integrated
Why would you need
soundboard.
this though?
Oh, I see. Like, oh, yes. Well, perhaps not. I'll leave that for another time.
Wait, is showing imagery of guns TOS? I better not tread that line. You know what? Let's just watch a bit of Daily Dose, and then we'll finish with an expo, and then we'll play some games.